Inside this nest, two newly hatched chicks, Chinku and Pinku, are caught in the middle of a torrential downpour. At this stage of development, they are entirely dependent on their environment for stability. For hatchlings this small, rain is a rapid drain on their core temperature. Without an immediate influx of calories to generate body heat, their internal systems will begin to shut down, leading to hypothermia and starvation within hours. This creates a lethal pressure on their mother, Chickie. She can stay to provide warmth, but watch them starve, or she can fly into the storm to hunt, leaving them exposed to the freezing rain. Chickie chooses to hunt. She battles blinding rain and heavy winds that threaten to ground her at every turn, eventually managing to scavenge a few stray grains of wheat from the forest floor. Nature's first barrier to life is purely elemental. Overcoming it requires an organism to endure intense physical punishment simply to secure the resources necessary to continue existing. But the storm isn't the only hazard. A passing parrot delivers a chilling update. A snake is moving through the nearby branches, actively targeting unguarded nests. Chickie is caught in a closing pincer. Every moment spent hunting for food increases the probability of predation to nearly 100%, while every moment spent guarding the nest guarantees starvation. The realization hits her immediately. Her absence has made the nest a prime target. She takes off, flying frantically back toward her home, ignoring the exhaustion in her wings. For a prey animal, fear is a biological necessity. It is a highly calibrated evolutionary alarm system that forces the brain to recalculate the odds of survival in real time. Chickie's path home is suddenly blocked. Two massive predatory birds, Kalu and Sultan, intercept her, viewing the small wet bird as an easy meal. The disparity between these species is overwhelming. Chickie lacks the mass, wingspan, and offensive tools to survive a physical engagement. Fighting means certain death, and waterlogged wings make flight impossible. With physical avenues closed, she is left with only one tool: cognitive strategy. She attempts to exploit psychological asymmetry, using her opponent's greatest advantages, like their size and ego, to create a vulnerability not present in their biology. When physical combat is a losing equation, intellect and manipulation become the primary defense mechanisms for the weak. Chickie stops retreating and issues a challenge. She tells the hawks she is willing to be eaten, but only by the one who is the true, undisputed apex hunter. The predators react to the social challenge. Their hardwired instinct to establish hierarchical dominance overrides their focus on the prey, and they grapple in midair, tearing at each other as they fall. While the hawks are locked in a self-destructive brawl, Chickie quietly slips away through the undergrowth and returns to her chicks. Tactical brilliance does not require overpowering an enemy. It requires engineering a scenario where the enemy's own instincts lead to their defeat. The next morning brings a new crisis. The exposure to the freezing rain has resulted in a severe, life-threatening viral fever for both Chinku and Pinku. The threat has shifted from the external world to a microscopic internal one. Chickie consults a local forest doctor, but the prognosis is grim. The hatchlings' immune systems are struggling to cope. The doctor explains that because their bodies are already depleted from the storm, there is no medical guarantee that they can survive the night. This is a total collapse of logic for Chickie. Her physical endurance secured food, and her intellect outwitted predators, but neither can stop a viral infection from the inside. The ultimate test of survival occurs when all rational tools fail, leaving an organism with nothing but the raw will to persist despite the evidence. Chickie flies to the Silent Peak, the highest point in the forest. This ascent is a final, desperate confrontation with an environment that seems determined to erase her lineage. At the peak, her perspective shifts. She refuses to accept the role of the grieving victim. This psychological endurance is what keeps her from succumbing to exhaustion, allowing her to stay present and alert during the most critical hours of her chick's illness. By the time she returns to the nest, the fever has broken. While medicine offered no certainty, Chickie's refusal to abandon her post provided the constant care and warmth that allowed the chicks' immune systems to finally turn the tide. As they recover, she tells them that fear is a natural response to the wild, but bravery is the decision to remain steadfast long after the fear has arrived. Nature operates through the cold filters of weather, hunger, and disease. But even in a ruthless environment, the persistent tenacity of a mother's protection can bridge the gap between certain death and the chance to see another sunrise.